Bengali, the
What's
one and
going on?
only Big
Alhamdulillah.
Bailey, Big Fish in the house. Absolute pleasure and honor to have you onto this podcast, bro. Today that we're gonna be diving deep into you, bro. Into your life, because there's a lot of things I want to ask you and
The
uncover.
upbringing, yeah,
Um,
the upbringing. I believe in our culture, what I grew up from, we tend to have a
okay.
bit more. We tend to have a bit more. It's the word sintaki, was it? Because obviously a boy, like if a boy were to walk to school with his friends or by himself,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah,
less of
yeah.
a worry because he's a boy. That's what we grew up to.
Ah,
But if it's a daughter,
I
if
get
it's a
that, bro.
girl, it's a
Yeah,
bit more of a worry. If a boy hasn't come home for 7, 8 o'clock, okay, cool, he's coming. Where are you?
yeah,
Where are you? What's going on? Blah blah blah. I'm
yeah,
coming.
yeah,
Give him half an hour. Give him an hour. When he comes home, don't be
yeah,
late again. When if it's a girl, where the hell are you? Coming to pick you up right now.
yeah,
It's more of like, where are you? What are you doing? More of a play on your mind, because I believe that's what. But then again, that could be something that we, as me in my culture, have grown up to, and could be something that we need to work on. But then again, it is something that I think is quite deep in our whole culture.
Right, you know what? Check this, yeah. That's funny that you said that because I'm of that similar opinion as well. I'm more protective of my daughters than my sons by far, bruv. And even when it comes down to the Maya side of things, I'm
100%.
hyper affectionate towards my daughters than with my boys. Boys are a bit more harsher. But there was something that I wanted to ask you as well, bro, regarding that. See, how do you ground yourself as a masculine father when you're dealing with daughters? You got to be a certain way, right, bro? You got to be more softer. You got to be more caring and that. But
Don't
how do
shout.
you? How does that
I
affect
really, I
your
don't shout.
masculinity? Like, you don't shout at him. Okay.
I don't like shouting. I don't. The one thing, obviously, if you're in a relationship, and what happens is,
Yeah.
I try and be stern, but I believe I try to be stern, but I try not to.
Yeah.
Obviously, if the father and the mother are having some sort of a disagreement in the household and it
Yeah.
gets heated and loud, that's different. That's in the house. That the
Yeah.
children shouldn't see, by the way. But obviously,
Yeah.
again, we as people need to work on that in our households. But I try not to.
Okay.
I try not to. I try not to shout at the children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bear with me 1 second. Alamin Bhai, Assalamu alaikum. I'm on a podcast. Okay, cool.
We're just
The
trying to
brother's
keep things
getting me.
rules and real, bro.
Yes, so what I was saying, yeah, I believe that the first thing I believe, we shouldn't shout. Like, you know how we was growing when we grew up, when we was a bit younger, yeah. We used to get
Yeah,
shouted
right.
at quite a bit,
Yeah, yeah.
and I don't like that. I really don't like that. That's not my way of
Okay.
That is not my way of parenting. I don't think that should be anyone's way of parenting, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
but the thing was, it was done so much, yeah. I don't blame the parents for doing it, but it was done so much, yeah, that it
Mm.
just became a social norm in the community, getting shouted at. It
Wait,
became
wait.
such a social
Can
norm.
I ask you something about it? Oh, okay. So, see, what era was you born in? Was you around the 1980s or like what? 1980s or
90s.
like what?
I'm 35 now, innit? So I was born in the
Okay.
90s.
See. Okay, bro. Check this. That's a mad one because the era that I was born in was the 1980s, right? And that's when I grew up around. My mum getting the shingler, chasing us around the house, the
Yeah, I
whole
went for
inside,
yeah,
outside,
I
screaming,
went for the
shouting,
same thing,
yelling.
same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But it doesn't happen
Bro,
now though anymore. It doesn't happen
no,
now
no, no.
though. So you know when
Yeah,
we was growing up, we used to go to the mosque innit for our,
yeah, yeah,
as obviously, and in the
yeah,
mosque, obviously, let's be honest, the teachers, we used to get
yeah,
a few
yeah,
beatings. It wasn't severe,
yeah,
but no, it was severe for some of them. Some
yeah,
of them mess up, but it doesn't happen in this generation because we've
yeah,
grown from that. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah,
But
yeah,
let
yeah.
me ask you a question. Do you
Go,
think?
bro.
Do you think when we were getting a few beaten in the mosque, it was better, or is it better now?
bro, can I be honest?
Be
I
honest.
think, yeah. No, no, I will. So I think the beating's done me good personally, bro. That's me personally. As severe as it was, because look, you got to remember, brother, that time that was the norm for us growing up. It was normal to get beaten here and there, and just like, but now it's completely different. You
But
see what
now,
I'm saying, bro?
bro, now let me tell you something. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll tell you something. If I give
go on,
my
bro.
children to the mosque, yeah, any
Yeah,
child, family member,
yeah,
cousin, nephew,
yeah,
children, stepchildren, whatever it is, yeah, and I
yeah,
hear someone's laid a finger on them, big problem,
yeah,
bro. So it's not just because it was the norm. Know that it
yeah,
wasn't right. You say that
yes,
it wasn't right, bro. Islam doesn't
yeah.
teach that. You know what I'm trying to say?
No,
Yes,
no, you're
you're
right.
supposed to be stern and this, that, and you gave an
Yeah,
answer that it was good for you, bro.
yeah.
How do you know if that didn't happen to you? It might have been even better for you. It doesn't mean it was perfect. You know what I'm trying to say?
No,
Because
no, see, yeah.
would you let your
See,
children would you let your children go through that now? Imagine you send your
no,
daughter to the mosque, your 10-year-old daughter to the mosque, yeah,
yeah,
and you find out
yeah.
she come back, she got a slap on the face, brother.
I get that, bro. Bro, but that's why that I was saying it worked in my era, but now it's completely different. See, and that's why it's a personal thing for me. It was just a personal thing, but absolutely that you're right, bro. It's that doesn't mean to say it's all right for everyone, and it doesn't mean to say that was the best approach or even the right approach to
Nah,
go about
I get
things.
that. I grew up on
Yeah,
the same situation, yeah, and
yeah,
I'm not
bro.
saying it was the right thing to be done, but no, you say, when you say Baya, yeah, what my
Yeah,
opinion would be when you say it was the era, it was what happened in our era, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe we're just nullifying it to the situation. Obviously, we're not gonna blame our parents for giving us a slap around the face on this stuff.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not. That's not what I'm saying. When you say it was a norm for the time and era that we came from,
yeah,
bro, I believe maybe we're misguided in saying that, only because of the
yeah,
fact of the matter is I believe they were less educated.
yeah,
Not that they were less educated. I believe that they were less, like, I'm not having a go at them. I'm not trying to say that,
yeah,
yeah, because I understand we went through it. I'm not saying I
yeah,
believe they were less informed. Because look, we got okay, inshallah, alhamdulillah, we've got
okay,
YouTube, we've
yeah,
got access to better sheikhs, we got access to
yeah,
sheikhs all over the world. Our knowledge
yeah,
is not like as as it was so boxed back in the day, which was not a
yeah,
big issue for them. You know what I'm trying to say? Because
yeah,
that's what they
yeah.
had access to. But I really do think it is better nowadays. Really, really do think. Because end of the day, when you grow something with love, it is better than growing
Yeah.
something with a bit of a kick behind it. Yes, the kick might then keep them straight later on, but love is love. End of the day, you know what I'm trying to say. That's the one thing that you
But
can't get better of.
see, in saying that, do you think, or that we've gone from one extreme to another? First of all, it was proper harsh, but now it's soft.
Too soft,
You
yes.
know what I
So
mean?
that is it. So I believe so that you're exactly correct on that. Because like like I was thinking this the other day, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly like how my mother, let's say, because
yeah,
were to send me to school. I would go to school year 7, year 8, obviously with friends or by myself or whatever. Even
mm,
year 6, like it used to happen. I'm sure yes, year 5 and year 6 children used to just get
yeah,
out the house and walk it. That was normal back then. Would I let a 5-year old, which would be a child of year 9, a child of 9, 10, go to school by themselves now? No,
yeah,
I wouldn't. So
yeah.
when you say, are they too soft? No, it's not that their children have become soft. It's we have become a bit softer. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Why is it
No,
that
no,
our parents were tough?
tell me, what is making us soft, mate?
So social media first and foremost, definitely.
Okay.
So obviously we're like, say for instance, our parents were not as open and seen as much as we've seen. They
Yeah,
didn't. They heard about problems. They heard about before, when we was young, when we used to get into an altercation or when we used to see a fight. It was just that what we saw, and that was it. You don't.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not being shared amongst it. Or when you go, if you go into a fight, you're not coming home. If there's not bruises, and if your mum can't clock on, we're not really talking about it. We're not stitching on it, are we?
no,
But
no,
but whereas now, obviously. a video goes out, and then the mother and the children and people, they get scared, and then I wouldn't let stabbings. So when we obviously over the last 10 years, obviously we had that stabbing craze.
Yeah,
So the stabbing craze made it a bit harder. A lot of children get stabbed, school children as well.
yeah,
So ota de kya ki মানুষের ভিতর ডর হামাই গেছে, ডর হামাই গেছে cause হাসা কথা যখন really as as I would say, we are tough in this generation because we deal with a lot more. I believe our parents were tougher because of the fact that they had to, even though they wasn't open to the information that we was open to,
yeah.
they were braver in the way they parented. Because right
Chill out.
now,
How?
right now,
But
okay, cool.
yeah,
I'll tell you something, yeah. Right
yeah,
now, a parent would be scared if a parent is not very comfortable in their own skin and with their children and the
yeah,
situation. Yeah, a parent would be kind of hasty. Okay, cool. Before, back in the days, the household was boom, the man's man, the woman's woman. You
yeah,
know what I'm trying
yeah,
to say? And
yeah,
so if even if the woman were to give the mother were to give a slap to the son or the daughter, the dad isn't saying, "Oh, why did you do that to my daughter for blah blah blah."
yeah,
He's
right.
staying out of it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Whereas now, I believe parents use the children as knives. They throw them at each other.
Ah,
So
against each other.
when that happens is then obviously the children learn about social services and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
obviously family members now. Okay, let's be honest. In the last 20 years ago, with mine and your era, your one era before me, right?
yeah,
In your era and my era, if a problem were to happen at home, social services wasn't called. The family
yeah,
was
yeah,
called,
yeah,
uncles were
yeah, yeah,
called, this one was called, that one was
yeah,
called, didn't it?
yeah,
They were called, didn't it? Then obviously, then we had the era before after mine, which was the last 15 years or 15
yeah,
to
right.
20 years of whereas families are not as intertwined as they were as people before. Brothers are not like obviously. So I would say why I say they were not intertwined, as in like then obviously the Muslim era came in, whereas mahram
Yeah,
and this and that, which is all good. Yeah, you're
yeah,
not
right.
going to your brother's house as much as you want to, or you're not
Yeah,
taking. Remember when we was growing up, I'm sure you had a sleepover with your cousin brother and your cousin sister.
yeah,
You all stayed in the same house. That doesn't
yeah, yeah.
happen.
No,
That
no.
would never happen now. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
obviously, that not happening, then we're open to seeing marriges fall apart. Obviously, before when a divorce used to happen, it was very secluded. Not the community didn't know. Now, obviously, you got WhatsApp, this, that, chit chat, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah. Now, everyone knows about it. And then now, when everyone does know about it, they know about social services kicking in, the father,
yeah,
this,
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Whereas our parents didn't have access resource to that social
Yeah,
service and this, that. They were just getting on with it. Most of the
yeah,
time, the father used to just go back home, get married again. Let's be honest, most fathers became a deadbeat when that did happen back in the days. Right
yeah,
now, I don't believe the father becomes a deadbeat. He obviously tries, but then obviously him trying, the woman gets social services in place because they know they can use the system against them to get themselves a
yeah,
house and money and stuff like this. And even the men are as bad. You know what I'm trying to say? Some of
yeah.
them, they say they're gonna do this, they say they're gonna do that, but they don't. So this is
Right.
the situation.
Let me ask something about it. Okay, so see, amongst what has been going on, what you just spoken about, the past to now, how do we as men ground ourselves? How do we deal with this pressure of what's happening around us, the background where we're coming from, and what's happening now? How do we just stabilize our mindset? Because, bro, we could be all over the place, man.
Okay,
It's,
cool.
it's
So I'll
how
tell
do
you
you
what it
keep
is, yeah.
yourself
How
sane?
do we do it,
Yeah.
yeah? I don't know.
Who's
The
up
answer
yourself?
is I don't know because we all everyone's a different learning stage
Yeah,
in life, yeah. I
yeah,
believe as
yeah,
a man, I think the first thing, obviously after Allah and your salah, if you
yeah,
we know this, yeah. Without
yeah, yeah,
salah, there's no guidance in it.
yeah,
But to the dunya, I believe if a man doesn't train, then the man doesn't have no guidance. I believe training, going to the gym, or
yeah,
having some sort of graft, as like the way a
yeah,
man needs to has a graft to pay bills, which he has to
yeah,
work
yeah,
to do something to pay bills, have raise a family. I believe a
yeah.
man to be a man needs to train. That's what I believe
Okay.
in. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the one thing
Mm.
that I believe in very bad. Obviously, there's fathers and obviously like time and I'm not
Yeah,
talking about. I'm not talking about fitness. I'm not talking
yeah,
about becoming hench. I'm not talking about
yeah, yeah,
becoming. I believe a man needs to have some sort of training in his life, via it being
okay.
football, being
Yeah,
with me. I enjoy going to the gym. I started
yeah.
enjoying it even more, and then
I see that, bro. Yeah, yeah. I see your journey transformation, bro. Subhanallah,
yeah,
mashallah, bro.
alhamdulillah.
From
So
you look bigger from back in the day, but now
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
you look
yeah,
more
yeah,
thinner.
yeah.
I
So
see you, bro.
I lost about 22 kilos in it. Do you understand? But obviously,
Mashallah,
yeah. So right now,
mashallah.
okay, let me get up for you. Let me show you some of the muscles.
Go on, bro. My God.
Nah, so obviously what happened was obviously I was
Yeah,
training and then obviously there's no point training without food and fitness. But
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
trying to, obviously before it was just chicken and chips and weights. Now it's
yeah, yeah,
weights and a bit more better food. But I believe, like I was saying, I fully believe that when I say training, I mean some sort of routine. A man needs to
all
have
right,
some
okay.
sort of routine, like
Yeah,
obviously that's what I mean by training. Obviously,
yeah,
um, work, gym, home,
yeah,
and if a man can train his mind to go to the gym and do some sort of
mm,
weights to have physically,
yeah,
then he can train himself in life as well.
yeah.
Some sort of routine in it. End of the day,
You
that's
said something, bro. You said a number of valuable things, man, because that helps from what is going on around us to deal with pressure. But then, check this: we're dealing with pressure, but at the same time, we're applying pressure to ourselves to develop ourselves, to build discipline, to be able to take on these challenges, right? So
100%.
that's like a physical and mental challenge as well, because in the gym that we've been challenged both ways, mentally and physically as well, just pushing ourselves and just
Yeah.
through that threshold. Um, oh, okay, no, I get that. So it comes across like, so to deal with these challenges, they need to be focused. You need to be disciplined. What other, bruv? Is there anything else that we need help developing? Like, so I'll give you an example. Emotional regulation, communication skills. Like,
Okay.
what,
Yeah. Okay.
what
Cool.
things
Oh,
like that,
cool.
bro?
I'll tell you
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah, go,
So
bro.
I believe there are certain men out there, though. I'll tell you. I'll give you a couple of examples here.
Yeah,
Obviously, when we was growing up, a man's man was a man's man, and we didn't really see any love from our fathers except sternness.
yeah,
It's always like
yeah,
stern, and obviously now I don't do that. I actually
yeah,
show love. You know what I'm trying to say? I actually show that, like, obviously my dialogue is basically when I speak to friends and family, it's like tui khoi. Tui khoi zaide,
yeah,
tui khoi
yeah,
yaide. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah,
But when it comes to children, I'm going to me khoi zaida, to me now. You know what I'm trying to say? So
yeah,
for me,
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
change in it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
That's dialogue. I believe is a big one, cause like if imagine you say foot, like when we was growing up, Amar Furi Maya, these
Yeah,
little
yeah,
things that it
yeah.
builds a lot of love and respect. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's one thing.
Mm,
Okay, cool. I'm gonna give you an example. I have a friend. His dad is easily in his 80s. Easily, yeah. The way his dad
mm.
speaks to him is one of the most beautiful things. Assalamu alaikum futhoige so to me, ayraini,
Yeah,
ayo, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah. And when I hear that, and I think to myself, rah, bro,
yeah,
my dad needs some lessons. You
yeah, 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 of
know
course.
what I'm trying to say? I believe that our fathers, a lot of
Yeah.
fathers, spoke to their children ill. Like the
Um,
manner of speaking to their children was
yeah,
ill,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I believe that's the reason why a lot of household had problems, and a lot of
Yeah.
house problems came from the way the father spoke to the child.
Spoke. Got you. I agree with that, bro. I agree with that. But
I
all right,
believe that.
so, bro, how do you think that's changed us then? How has that changed you? Because you're from the upbringing, so am I. But how has that changed you as a father? Just speaking to your daughters and see the way that you speak to your daughters. Do you think you can speak to if you were to have sons the same way, bro? How would you deal with your sons if you were to have a son, bro?
That's a question. So they say a mother is more close to the sons, and fathers are closer to the mothers. That's what I keep on hearing. I'm not a
Yeah,
woman to actually feel
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I can't really say from
yeah,
that side. When you say how would I speak to a son, I don't know, but I
yeah,
believe I believe a soul is a soul, and one thing, don't take the innocence away from any child, whether it be, because the way you speak to a child, it should be innocent. Because
yeah,
I believe a lot of people take, even if it's a boy or a girl,
yeah,
the way you speak to them takes their innocence away. Like I've met children that are seven, no, from my experience of saying, yeah,
yeah, yeah, man.
10 years old, but they got the mind of an 18-year-old because of
Yeah,
the way
yeah,
they've been treated and spoken to
probably,
and what
yeah,
they've seen in the household. So, and that could be a boy or a girl. Sometimes
yeah,
the parents pit the children against each other. They say ill about the boy, they say ill about the girl, and they say good about the boy. Sometimes they say
yeah,
good about the, and that's disgusting. And it
yeah,
happened. It happened in our era. Mothers, a lot of people. They okay, cool, 100%. Why is it that a lot of boys were favored over girls because our
mm,
generation used to think that yeah oh fire I'm done but
yeah, yeah,
they used to think like that. But why is
yeah,
it that when that woman were to get, but now growing up to that, now coming back to come and see that actually the boys have become the simps and they've become the simps up the woman's asses. Let's so
yeah,
to be
yeah,
rude, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
This,
yeah,
it is
come on.
what it is, yeah.
Yeah,
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 and
of course.
I've seen and been in experiences. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Being up the no, I wouldn't say the woman's ass. Yeah, I would say the society norm of like being stuck in a situation whereas the woman tends to be more intertwined. I want to go to my father's house. I want to do this. I want to do that.
yeah,
Certain men obviously stop it from happening, but really, I believe a relationship like this is what it is. A lot of families pitted their children against each other, man, thinking that's my
mm,
boy, that's my boy. A lot of families, what happened was, why is it that a lot of our elders used to, if it's a son, so say for instance, a mother has a daughter and a son.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Bro, I've been through this, I've seen it. So if I'll give you two examples. They used to
yeah,
favor the sons, the good nati, far nati, they had to favor it more than the furi nati. Cause obviously
mm,
they thought it was obviously beshchom, you know what I'm trying to say? If bro, if it was a dark skinned one, and one child was dark skinned and the
that's
other
gonna
child was
make you,
light
bro.
skinned, that's a
Yeah,
whole different
yeah,
dynamic,
yeah,
bro. I'm trying to
that's
say.
gonna
So
make
who is to
you,
who, bro? And it still goes on. Who is to
yeah,
blame for that? Yeah, and then what about when we were growing up? Used to parents used to khala gure, they used to treat the khala one different, the fat one
yeah,
different,
yeah,
the
yeah,
fair one
yeah,
different, this different. So they got a lot to be blamed for. If it's the end of the day, we forgive them because we love them
yeah, yeah,
and we're supposed to forgive them. But if I had to have my go at them, I'm
yeah,
well, bro, it is what it is. You know what I'm trying to say? And they deserve a bollocking, not in a
yeah,
rude way.
yeah,
What are we? What? End of the day, you wanted a smart Alec. Oh, I'm not for zefachna. I'm not for the fachna.
yeah,
Se.
yeah,
But I'm not fachna. We get to tomorrow. Fachna. Me kodi. Dekwain.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, but bro, how do you think that shaped us as like what does it mean to you to be a masculine man now, bro? Like considering that we've been through all that, seen it, witnessed it, been involved in it. Like what? Because bruv, I'm sure that impacts our own identity as well as a man. Like what does masculinity look like to you now, then, bruv?
I believe masculinity looks like now, yeah, is being
Yeah.
able to have power and influence in a situation, but still keep your calm and your patience. That's
Ah.
real masculinity. That's what I believe. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Like end of the day, you can do something, but you don't do it for the goodness of the future outcome or whatever it might be.
yeah,
Sometimes you use your brain instead of your emotional. Like sometimes you just don't. So recently, as I'm getting older, I've learned how not to be triggered as much
yeah,
in a conversation. So stuff like
yeah,
that, that's masculinity, learning how to,
yeah,
and obviously that's maturity and that's
yeah,
masculinity at the same time.
yeah,
Um, Having to know when to keep your mouth shut in an argument
yeah,
at
yeah,
home or whatever it is, or being like I'm sure you understand being in a family gathering and knowing
of
that
course,
yes,
of course,
you can say some
of
things
course.
that it can get
You got
heated,
back the
but just
tongue.
leave it at that. Or actually,
Yeah.
masculinity is actually letting things go as well. Just let it go.
Mm.
Sometimes thinking I'm better than this or I can't be bothered with this. You know what I'm trying to say? That's
But
real masculinity, bro.
let me add something else in. Okay, because bro, there's so many layers of masculinity, and the thing is this: it keeps on changing as time goes along. And that, but what is one consistent thing through the test of time where you know what that's masculine? What is that trait?
Being strong, being
But how? Killer, by like
physically,
what
no,
terms?
number
Yeah.
one thing, physically strong. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, a strong believer,
Yeah,
and people keep on thinking that it's just strong as in patient, strong, and this, that.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
a strong believer is better than a weak believer.
Weak
So
ability.
obviously you can interpret it in many ways. That a
Yeah, yeah,
strong is in patience, strong is in this, strong. I want to interpret it as a strong physically. A physical strong believer is better than a physically weak believer. Not that I got anything against them, because brother, end of the day, your knowledge is number one in it. What you've learned in, you know what
yeah,
I'm trying to say. If you can't pray, you can't pray. Then, so what I'm trying to say to you is that's one thing. If the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to talk about wrestling, he used to love Umar bin Khattab,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because of his bro. People feared him. They loved him because of the devil used to walk on the other side of the road because my man
yeah.
was hard. Let's be
Feared. Yeah,
honest. I'm
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
say
yeah,
so that's
yeah,
that there, the test of masculinity for a man to be physically strong has
yeah.
been there through the test of time. So that's number
So
one.
that's the base. That's the
Man needs to
baseline
be
for us.
strong, bro. A man needs to be strong,
Yeah,
bro. If someone comes into your house,
yeah,
not doesn't even need to come into. How are you supposed to? How? What's the point of being a father or this
yeah,
and that? You can't protect yourself or your family, bruv.
yeah,
I'm not saying, bro. End of the day, a situation is determined by Allah. Bro, you can be the biggest man in the world. A small guy can give you one punch
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
slap you. You know, if he's trained. But what I'm trying to say to you is, if you need to be able to hold a situation. You need to be
Yeah,
able to hold a situation. I'm not saying you have to always be in the right situation or win a
yeah.
situation. You can leave the situation. But if you can't hold the situation, what's the point?
Hold the situation in what sense? Like not allow the situation to get the best of you.
Okay,
To
example, you're walking,
yeah,
you're in a you're in Sainsbury's or you're in a supermarket,
right.
and you're with your family members, child, Mrs. whatever. Let's use Mrs.
Yeah,
for example, and
yeah,
someone were to say something, or were to barge, or like something that is not appropriate.
yeah, yeah,
Now she feels uncomfortable,
yeah,
but you, not saying that you have to be like, oh, what's going on? But but you don't know. Excuse me. Um, you stop that situation. Excuse me, or
yeah,
excuse me, bruv. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it depends on
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
age and maturity level of whoever deals with it in that
yeah.
certain time and term. A lot of men would deal with it in a different way. But if
Of
you
course.
cannot be that guy when your partner looks at you and wants you to protect them, because
Yeah.
not all protection needs physical interaction. Could be
No,
there.
definitely. Not.
Excuse me, listen, excuse me, can you move out the way, please? Or
Yeah,
excuse me, this, that, I'm trying to say. If you ain't got the confidence to do that, then there's a situation, there's a problem, innit? There's a
yeah.
problem. Because
But what do you think that we need to do as men to level up? Or do you think we even need to just level up? Where do you think that we're going wrong, bro?
leveling up, because end of the day, it's shifted a lot, innit? A lot of our women have
Mm.
become so masculine as well. So then
Yeah,
it's hard for a man to know what is leveling up. You
yeah.
spend these, I'm not
But,
gonna, I'm
but
gonna say,
yeah,
I'm gonna be like these women, a lot of our women in it, yeah.
yeah,
A lot of our women, obviously, due to their experience or having bad relationships with their fathers and brothers and
yeah.
boyfriends and husbands, whatever it may be, has turned them a bit sour
Okay.
and being ill
Right.
treated and whatnot. So
Yeah,
then, obviously, when you are around it as a man, your masculinity is tested because obviously I don't think you might need to use the beep this word out, but they're
yeah,
gonna, if you they're gonna the word pussy. Oh, he's a
yeah,
pussy. I'm trying to
yeah,
say
yeah,
that he's a pussy.
yeah.
Oh, he's weak. He's a pussy. So if women keep on treating the men to this, so the women have raised the bar of masculinity so high that it is
Mm,
hard for the normal man to even achieve it and reach it. Because to a
mm,
woman, so like there's couple of types of masculinity. Physical
Yeah, man.
masculinity, number one,
Yeah,
mature masculinity,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's hard to get all of it in one person.
yeah,
Hasaril,
yeah.
it's as a
That's
man,
right.
it's really hard to master it. It
Yeah,
takes it takes a man to break down to actually master it.
yeah, yeah.
He has to lose it all to actually be able to be in a situation there. Because we
To
got feelings
rebuild
as
it.
well, innit? We got feelings as well.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
get hurt. You know? Let's be honest. Women can hurt men with the words that they say. You know what I'm trying to say?
Let me hold you on that one. See, how do you regulate your feelings then? Like we said, because we have to, first of all, we're trying to raise the bar, we're trying to develop ourselves, but at the same time, some men out there are losing it as well, bro. So how do you regulate yourself? What do you do?
So I've come to a point that I try and keep my mind, my heart, my soul, my
Yeah,
tongue as one. I try not to think one thing, feel one thing, speak one thing.
yeah,
So that's how I've been dealing with it. If I feel a certain way, I'm talking that way, and I'm thinking
yeah,
that way. I try not to let my brain think overtake. You know, you get these thoughts in your head that uh conniving. I don't want to be conniving, innit? The first
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
like, so connivingness is it's a big thing, innit? Because you
yeah,
tend to overthink. And I'm a big overthinker. I start overthinking in a lot of things. So
yeah,
that's one thing. Try and keep everything as one. Because as we've grown up, yeah, we've been taught to think one way. But then
yeah,
again, the heart is always the heart. Allah said it's the heart that He looks at. It's not the mind. Obviously, the
yeah,
mind is the one that the shaitan plays with your mind that affects your heart. But Allah sees your heart, puts when you make dua, Allah puts it in your heart that goes to your mind. Does that make sense? You know what I'm trying to say? So I
yeah, I
believe that
understand.
if you can intertwine both of them into one, inshallah,
Sure.
then maybe you got some sort of way of dealing with these. Now, because as a man, we go through the world, bro. We got to deal with the world. So that's it, man. That's how I've been dealing with stuff, you know what I'm trying to say? And with a smile. I try and smile for
Yeah.
most things.
Bro, it's mad as well because all of those things, the journey that you've spoken about, the background, the era that we're from, and then just trying to keep sane amongst that. And also, I would say that like, bro, we don't come unscathed because we also have trauma of some sort to some degree, and some deal with it in a different way. But bro, how do you keep moving? How do you stay motivated, man? Because you're a businessman, you're a father, you're an influencer, you're a content creator, that you're just always on the go. And how do you juggle everything, bro? And just
I
keep
don't
yourself
listen.
sane?
I
How
just
do you
go
do
on.
that?
At first, I tried to juggle it. But yeah, I just
Yeah.
try and have a routine, some sort of a routine, not that
Mm.
stern, and then
Yeah, yeah,
and then just go on about your day. And how's
yeah,
it, man? I just try and keep it as sweet as possible every day.
yeah,
Before I used to get irritated with a lot of things. If something didn't go my way, I used to get irritated so quickly. I used to mess up my day.
yeah,
Now it's like subhanallah, I mean, it was meant to be just whatever, you know.
yeah,
I'm trying to
yeah.
say, like, obviously,
Alhamdulillah.
like that's the way I've been dealing with a lot of things.
Mm,
Like problems come, man. A lot of problems come in life. You know what I'm trying to say. But
mm,
if you look at it from the context that, like, it was supposed to come and I had to deal with it, alhamdulillah, like, it could have been better. Like, obviously, car accident. If someone were to get into a car
yeah,
accident,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then it
yeah,
could have.
yeah,
I've known people that have died from it. You know what I'm trying to say. So,
yeah,
subhanallah. Obviously, when you come out, your car's on. You know when obviously your car's broken and your body's not broken. We've come to an age that
yeah, yeah, yeah,
allow it, man. That it's just a car. I'm sure you understand exactly what I'm trying to say. Yeah, obviously it's gonna hurt, it's costly and all that, but we now know the body is more important because if you hurt your leg,
yeah.
you
Of
ain't
course,
getting that leg back. A car can be bought,
of
and
course.
again, there's many of the same cars around. So
Yeah.
that is the kind of mindset I do kind of have. Subhanallah to everything, because like just trying my best in it. I'm trying to
Bro,
say.
you know what? You know what? There was something that really resonated with me. What you said. There's a couple of things actually. One thing was about the car accident because my daughter actually got involved in a car accident. She snapped her leg, and alhamdulillah, she's good now. Alhamdulillah, like she's doing all sorts of
Alhamdulillah.
back flips and all of these kind of
Bro.
crazy
Could have been worse,
gymnastic things.
bro.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
could have been worse. It
It
could have
could be
been
worse,
worse, no?
exactly. And bro, the thing is this. Look, what I've come to realize is exactly what you've just said. One of the things that helped me when I'm trying to juggle so many things, business, work, life, family balance, and all of that sort of stuff, is routine. Routine
Routine.
is the thing that keeps you on. Like, because bro,
100%.
if I go off this routine, I'm gonna be screwed up. Because routine is like a checkpoint. It keeps you sane because it's like a focus. Like
100%.
I got to do
Every
this,
man
this,
needs a
this.
routine. That's why when I said training, I meant routine, as in like,
Our
so,
routine.
like, routine is number one. Obviously, you don't, obviously, you have, example, me and you, yeah, I'm going to talk about me and
Yeah,
you. School
yeah,
run,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
school run, gym, get work
yeah,
done, come back, have some time
yeah,
for yourself, eat, rest, give some time to the spouse, home,
yeah,
whatever, you know what I'm trying to say, and then come home, give time to the children. The friends, cut the friends out. The friends,
yeah,
if you want to see friends, you see them in the gym, and that's it. To me, that's it. I don't really chill with my boys anymore as much as I want to. They're
yeah,
always on my phone. If they need me, I'm there. Yeah?
yeah,
Either I see
yeah.
them in my business or I see them in the gym. I haven't got
Yes.
time for you. I love you. If you
Mm,
have a problem, I'm there. If I have a
mm,
problem, I expect you to be here.
yeah,
I gave you 20 years of my time, same as you gave me 20 years of your time.
mm.
Yeah? You know what I'm trying to say? Friends, okay, once in a blue moon, like once every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks,
Yeah,
and whatnot. Other
yeah,
than that, if you're still rolling around every single day as a man, you need to go see your friend, you're a bum. You are
yeah,
a
yeah,
bum.
yeah,
Bob, I don't
yeah,
care what anyone says. I swear to God, you're a bum.
yeah,
If you got children, you got a job, you work out, and after all that, you don't, and then you want to go out and see your friends every couple of days. You see them half an hour to an hour on a
yeah,
day.
yeah,
You know, gotta, as men, I'm the gotta tolerate it,
yeah,
I only say, yo, we just chill out there. I don't
yeah,
smoke, but a lot of men just smoke a cigarette
yeah,
here and there. Give them 10, 15 minutes. That's your conversation done, bro. But if you need
yeah,
to go out and spend hours with them, like, you're a bum. Bro,
yeah,
go
yeah,
spend, do something productive with that time.
yeah.
Go see your friends in the gym, the
Agreed,
mosque. That's it,
agreed, agreed,
bro. I
agreed.
don't care. Unless you're making money with your friends, you're working out
Yeah,
with your friends, or you need to go out. Say, for instance, you guys went to shopping. Like you want to go buy a jacket for Eid,
yeah,
or you
yeah,
want to go buy. Or like you get like share some moments of obviously at that time you're sharing moments of what's going on, mental
yeah. Of course.
breakdown.
Yeah,
Other
you're not,
than
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
allow the friend situation, bro. It's yourself. If
yeah,
you are not busy working on yourself, your
yeah,
mind, your body, how can you help your family, your pocket,
yeah,
your
yeah,
friend?
yeah.
How can you, if you're not working on yourself, how can you help these people? You can't.
But the thing is this, look, check this. Okay, so if there's a lot of those things that us mans are trying to juggle with, and we're trying to do the best that we can, what do you think is causing us to break down then, bro? Like, because there's some mans that are out there grinding, hustling, doing their thing, cool. But then there's also some people who are even struggling to do that, bro.
Okay, cool. When it comes to grinding and hustling and stuff like that, yeah,
Yeah.
you need a purpose. Like you need to have either you want to
Mm.
you can't follow another man's stream. If you want a
No,
job,
you can't. You can't.
if you
Yeah.
want a job, go get yourself a job.
Yeah.
Like your job. If you want a job, make sure you like your job. If you want to do business, don't look at another man doing business and killing. I've got friends that are killing it in business, making bread, bro. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I'm not looking at them. I'm not subhanallah, they're doing their thing. What can I learn off them?
All the experiences that we've been through, there must have been something that our dad's done right. What do you think that your dad done right? Bro?
End of the day, they did raise us. We turned out to be half
Mm.
decent now. So
Yeah.
um I think they kept, even though they tried to keep more unity within family members and didn't burn as many bridges as we do recently.
Yeah.
I don't think they burned as many bridges as we have started to do so recently. That's as a generation. I think they kept bridges more, and obviously like every father I know you're just saying how did a father raise a child and what he did, but
mm,
I can only say in a context where in the overall story they say it takes a village to raise a child, so can't just
mm.
put it on one man, you know what I'm trying to say. And I
No,
think
no, yeah,
they kept they whereas now obvious whereas the father was a part of the village, whereas nowadays
yeah.
there's no village anymore, if that makes sense what I'm trying to say. There is
But
no
see
village,
what
so
you just said. There's something that is oh my gosh, you kind of hit a nail on the head. This is like you just kind of summarized my mission, bro. Whether you realize it or not, yeah. And it was like this. Look, you said something about a community. When we got raised, there was a community, there was a unity.
mm,
Now
mm,
there's not. Now we're isolated. Now we're having to figure things out for ourselves, bro. Do you see what I'm
yeah.
saying? That's
Now
deep.
we might have
That's really deep.
we might yeah, so we might have all the power in the world to speak to family members via WhatsApp
Mm,
or social media
yeah.
or anything that we have, but
Mm,
we are not speaking to them. We're actually throwing sticks and stones at each other, if anything, if any more,
yeah, man.
if more. Whereas before, when you did used to speak to someone
Yeah,
and you used to value that conversation a bit more, whereas now we might be able to speak to each other a bit more and see each other a bit more via video call, phone call,
yeah,
or whatever, but we don't value it as much in it. So then obviously we don't try. And before, when you used to do take someone's word or advice, or because obviously the village, like I said, you were grown up in a village,
mm,
so the village had a say, and not that it was always the best way to be brought up, but like you had more to before you did. Right now, if I do one thing wrong, I just
yeah,
who am I actually, obviously after having the fact that to fear Allah, but what I'm trying to say is if I'm not having to be held up on it by a village, if you know what I'm trying to say, then
mm,
I'm not becoming the man or who am I supposed to be. Whereas before, if someone had to do one thing wrong or is going to do something wrong, they're worried about 20 different things. So the village concept would have been nice to still have. But then again, with the
mm,
village concept, there is a lot of Chinese whispers and like, so
yeah,
there's good and bad in both. But yes, it does take a village to raise a child. And whereas our villages was
but,
our
mm,
communities and our areas and our hoods and the gangs that we our friends, the gangs, whatever we used to call it, our uncles, our cousin
but
brothers.
what would you say that you're trying to figure out on your own now?
Is it the fact of the matter is that as you get older,
Mm,
you see you want to be as nice and innocent and genuine as possible, but then obviously you deal with people, family members, to go see that there's so many um eggshells around, so then it closes
mm,
you up to be the genuine person that you want to be. Then obviously you
mm,
always deal with a family member or a person in a certain way.
yeah,
Some you're very good with, but now then that changes you as a character. Then you now stop going to that family member's house with your children, and then you stay away from them, which is fine. Some toxic people you're supposed to, but then what happens is then you get so used to it, then you just feel so confident of I know better and this knows better. You know what I'm trying to say? So I'm just trying to deal with the fact: do I know what's best for me, or do I take the advice of experienced
mm,
elders and stuff like that? Because as you get older, you come to a point that you speak back and you judge back. You know what I'm trying to say? And
mm,
so now, just because the- do I put value in other people's words and say so after that's literally being hurt in growing up? You know, I getting pinches here and there. You know what I'm trying to
mm,
say? So that's another thing. So that's what I don't know. When you ask me, I'm learning how to not be a man, but how to deal with things generally. Like sometimes to be so people
Yeah,
say forgive and forget.
yeah.
Sometimes people forget and they don't forgive. Sometimes they forgive and they forget. Sometimes so learning which one is appropriate at which time, stuff like that. So this is what
Mm.
I go through.
But I mean, like, what pressure do you feel that you're carrying? Like, what is the, what do you feel that you're like that you've not really spoken about? What is it, that pressure, that one thing that you're just Khalifa when he's
Bro, let me tell you
just
that.
trying to figure out,
I
bro?
tell you one thing, yeah. Let me
Mm,
tell you one thing. In order to be a good person, a nice person,
mm,
a decent person, you need to
mm.
have a bit of not knowing how to be nice, decent, and a bit of a prick. A person
Okay.
that's always nice, yeah. Look, I can't just always be nice to you if I don't know how
No,
to be a
no,
prick to you. Does it make sense? Astaghfirullah, the way I'm saying it, yeah.
no,
If
no.
I
Clearly,
can be,
yeah,
so what I'm trying to say to you is, if I know how to be a
yeah,
bit evil, and I still choose
yeah.
to be decent and good to you, then I've actually given myself, I've given you a bit of my love. But if I don't
Ah,
know how
okay,
to be that other person, and I'm
okay.
always that one nice, jolly person that's always taking this, then I don't know exactly what I'm giving to. I'm just being, because life throws stones at you all the time. Let's be honest.
Mm,
Like life doesn't
mm.
come without throwing stones at you. And then it's
No,
about, do you throw the stone back? And if you do throw it back, do you throw it back at the appropriate
mm,
person? Because
mm.
sometimes a stone comes your way and you throw it back at the wrong person, or you throw it too hard and it hits someone else. Stuff like that. So, inshallah, a lot of things going on in Big Fish's head. But I'm always
Yeah,
smiling.
right.
On how say.
That is why we're having these kind of discussions, because I'm trying to get into Big Fish's head, not in your head, in your pond, bruv. It's a pond, isn't it? The big fish is
I'm
in
saying,
the
but
pond.
you're talking to Big Fish. I'm saying, like, there is a lot, though. There's a lot. So, yeah, but yeah, man. Obviously, Alhamdulillah. Like, no one's got all the answers, innit? No one's got all the
No.
answers. And obviously, as I'm growing up, so every era came with a different perspective of life. Whereas now, a few years ago, you're a bit more raggo. Then now
Yeah.
you're a bit more calm. And then later on, you're a bit more stubborn. They say as you get older, you
Mm,
become more childlike, as in older
yeah.
ages, apparently. I'm not 100% sure
Mm,
about that, but I see it in a lot of fathers and men in it. So, yeah, in the general, if like, look at it this way. If
yeah,
there's
bro.
two types of uncles that I see in my life, yeah. I see
Mm,
the uncles that have integrated, they can use YouTube, they can use WhatsApp, they can use
mm,
Facebook. Like, there's quite a few of them, you know what I'm trying to say? So they've stayed with the time, and and there's a lot of uncles that just don't know nothing but that. They just know their old school ways. So I
yeah.
want to be able to be that uncle that stays with the time, because staying with the time is staying with your children and their mindset as well. And obviously with the
Okay.
youth and the generation. So you
Mm,
don't want to be left behind, because not that you don't want to be left behind, or you don't want to leave your mind behind, because you're going to lose out a lot, which you're going to lose out the future generation if you don't
mm,
act upon yourself now to upgrade yourself in whatever it is, like
yeah.
your so as things like, obviously, as we had to upgrade, like, by some, let's say, how old are you now? 40 something? I would say 40s, yeah.
45. 45.
45, yeah.
Mm,
Obviously, imagine at your age, there's a lot of people that wouldn't know how to use this FM link that you're sending me. So you
yeah,
stayed with the time, and then
mm,
just stuff like that. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm not saying that a lot of people haven't, but I'm saying, like, we need to always stay on the ball, because the ball is always constantly moving. You know what I'm trying to say? So
yeah.
dealing with stuff like that,
But
inshallah.
That's a good point about that you just made. It's trying to bridge the generation gap, because we're always going to be ahead. We're always going to be, in some sense, ahead, but in other sense backwards. Ahead in terms of understanding people, have people experiences, lived experiences with people. Um, in a sense that we're ahead that way. But when it comes down to technology or latest trends, we're backwards, bro. And it's so true what you just said. We have to bridge that gap. But bro,
Yeah.
and what you're saying is, if I can repeat, is it comes across like to be not just to learn what's happening, but would you say also to have regular communication, which looks like touch base with each other, just find out, their likes, interests, get involved more into our kids' life. Would you say it's about that as well, bro? Or would you
So
just
yeah, it is about
say
that, but
no?
sometimes it's a bit difficult, innit? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes talking to some children
Yeah,
as they get older, they're a bit more difficult, innit? Like you want to like we get so busy as men. I can't speak for the sisters, but obviously I'm assuming
yeah,
sisters get busy as well with working, looking after
yeah,
the children, and come on, man, looking after
yeah,
the yard, looking after their man, like so many
yeah,
things. You know
yeah,
what I'm trying to say? We
yeah,
get so busy that we tend to sometimes like we want to be connected with them, but sometimes we
mm,
just want to chill with them, like we want to connect with them, but it's not a full
yeah,
time job, innit? How many jobs are you gonna take on and do to the best of your capability? Looking after the yard is a full time job. Looking after your own family, your own self, your own
yeah,
children. Yeah,
yeah,
it can say show mo edita, but whatever time that you can give to that moment, just give it with a bit of like sincerity and a bit of love, innit? I'm trying to say, even like walking your children to school, that might be the only pure moment that you actually have with your children. You know what I'm trying to say? So if that is, then you spend that building that bridge of love.